Tiger Island is a complete animal care facility that provides our tigers with the care they need to live a long and healthy life. The primary purpose of Tiger Island is to raise awareness of the real threat of extinction of tigers in the wild. Through education and fundraising, we can make a positive change to their future. The Dreamworld Wildlife Foundation is the world's largest contributor of money to the globally recognised 21st century tiger, an organisation dedicated to giving wild tigers a future. Thank you for being here and helping us save tigers.
Well, how about a massive round of applause for our Tiger Star and his handlers as they make their way out to the island. Leading today's presentation, we have Paul, and he'll introduce the tiger and the handlers working with him in a short moment's time. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Tiger Island right here at Dreamworld. We are so glad you could join us here today to witness some amazing natural tiger abilities and learn about a very important conservation message facing the world today. Now, my name is Wildlife Ali, and they call me that here at Dreamworld because I just love animals. Who else out there loves animals? Put your hands in the air and make some noise, Dreamworld! And that is amazing because the animal kingdom needs people like you who will be there to help them and ensure that they survive. Especially the beautiful creature behind me. Now it looks like we're ready to go on the island, so over to you, Paul.
Thank you, Wildlife Ali, and welcome everyone to Tiger Island. Hopefully the tiger put on a great presentation for you today. Two things that you'll see in the presentation. The first thing is, whatever the tiger is doing, whether you think it's cool or cute, one thing they have all in common is that it's natural behaviours of tigers. Things that tigers would naturally do out in the wild. The second thing is that we don't force our tigers to do anything. We just ask. If they're happy to oblige, we reward them with food. And that's what our handler got in his metal pouch on his side of the bottom, on his side. Lots of different food rewards for the tigers. So the tiger doesn't have to do anything if he doesn't want to, but they are pretty motivated by food. Who isn't? Another way they are motivated is by you guys. So anything you like to do, feel free to clap and cheer about. The tiger loves the attention and actually how it motivates it. So let's meet the tiger we've got out here today. We have got Javi. And Javi is being looked after by Simon today. So Javi is actually one of our biggest tigers. He's about 155 kilos. So he's only 4 years old, one of our younger tigers here as well. So let's give a round of applause to Javi. So the first behaviour we're going to ask our tigers to do is what's called a sit-up. So using milk as a reward, he's going straight into it. Give it a round of applause. Very keen today. Now you might be thinking, oh, isn't that cute? But it is a natural behaviour of tigers, which they do out in the wild for a couple of different reasons. One is when they're hunting through long tall grass, they actually might need to do a sit-up to look above that tall grass to see if there's actually any prey about. Another reason is with scent marking. This is how tigers communicate to one another through scent marks, which they spread around the territory in lots of different places, especially high places like overhanging rocks and branches. So they might need to sit up to reach that scent mark to determine who's been around in their territory and stuff like that. Get all lots of uses to actually scent mark. Sometimes they need to go up higher to reach those scent marks, and they can do that in what's called rise behaviour. And we're going to do the traditional tiger island rise up on the shoulder of a hand. Let's give it a round of applause as you get up there. So they actually typically use this behaviour on trees. They rise up on the tree, and what they do, they then get their claws and rake down the side of the tree, leaving a visual mark that they've been there. And it does leave the scent mark when they do that as well, because they do have scent gland in between the pads of their paw. Now you might be looking at Simon there holding 155 kilos up on his shoulders, thinking he's the strongest man around. Well, unfortunately the tiger's doing most of the work for him. And we can actually demonstrate this with our next behaviour in what's called a free stance. This is where we ask the tiger to stand up on their back two legs and support their whole body just on his back two legs as he's doing. Give him a round of applause. Now, this behaviour is linked into Simon there. This behaviour does have a couple of different names. Another name for it is called a fight stance. As you can see, when he got up nice and tall, his two front paws are free to clobber the other tiger down onto the ground, which he then uses his big teeth to finish off the jobs. Look how big and tall he is. Now let's talk about their big canine teeth. This is the main killing tool of the tiger. In a second, Simon's going to put his hand, there he goes. Peel back that lip so you can see those big canine teeth. So if you want to have a closer look at one, I do have a plastic replica of one in my hand. You can see it's quite big, about 12, 13 centimetres long. You might be thinking the one in my hand is actually bigger than the one in the tiger's mouth, and that's because most of it is in the jawline. Half the teeth is in the jawline to give it a strong foundation to deliver that powerful bite. Now, running along the back of that tooth are these little grooves, and these grooves allow air into the bite side, which is important because it stops that vacuum effect from happening, so the teeth doesn't get stuck in that bite side. So if they do need a quick release their prey to readjust and bite back in, they can do so safely. Now you might see behind that big canine teeth, there is a bit of a gap before those next set of teeth, where in our mouth we have our molars. But tigers don't have molars, they have what's called canascioles. Canascioles are actually very sharp teeth, which is used to cut up their food, not chew their food, because unlike us, they've got no side-to-side movement in the jaw. They only got up and down. So those canascioles act like scissors. The shear off chunks of meat which are then swallowed down whole. So that does come to the end of the first part of the presentation, and I reckon Javi has done a fantastic job. So let's give her another round of applause, and back to you, Wild Honey.
Thanks for that, Paul. Wasn't that awesome, everyone? Well, now we're going to take a quick step back in time and look at the history of these beautiful animals. Now, a century ago throughout Southeast Asia, a series of tragic events took place that started the decline of the wild tiger population. 100 years ago, there were more than 100,000 tigers roaming wild through Asia. Today, that number is less than 4,000, and as you can see, that number is still dropping. So what happened? Unfortunately, we did. As the human population grew, it displaced the tigers from their natural habitat. Therefore, it was kind of inevitable a human-tiger conflict would occur. The footage on the screen behind me may be a little bit confronting. However, it really does demonstrate the impact that humans have had on the wild tiger population. Now, Paul will touch base on this and more a little bit later in the presentation, as well as the amazing work that we do right here at the Dreamworld Wildlife Foundation. But for now, are we ready to jump into the next series of behaviours, Paul?
I think so. As Javi leads across there, give him a round of applause. He's going to go back and forth between the two platforms there. And you see he goes from the edge of one platform and lands on the very edge of the next platform. That's a 3-metre gap there, and by how he's jumping, you might think it's taking his time to jump. You might be thinking he's pretty much jumping as far as he can jump. That is not the case. We've seen our tiger jump 6 metres here on the island. If you're wondering what's the distance of a mold in front of us, don't worry, it is longer than 6 metres, by about 5 centimetres or something. A tiger hasn't jumped out since I've been here. So why is only jumping the minimum distance? Is to conserve energy. Out in the wild, they don't know when the next meal is going to be, so they want to conserve energy whenever possible. And that's including jumping just the minimum distance that they need to jump. Also, on his next jump, have a look at his tail. His tail's going to flick up, which gives him a bit more momentum. Here he goes, there it goes. So that flicking up tail gives him a bit more momentum, so again, saving energy. And also helps us with balance while jumping. So we're going to do one more jump. Here he goes. Yeah, give me a round of applause. Some fantastic jump there by Javi. Now he's going to hop down now. We're going to slow it down now and do some formal training. So this is called mark training. And you can see Simon's got some wooden mark boards in his hands. You're going to place them down on the ground for the tiger, once Javi's got all that meat from the platform up there. So Simon's going to place them down on the ground for him, and Javi's going to walk up to him and place his 2 front paws for us. And when he does that, he gets a reward. Now you might be thinking this is pretty simple stuff, but it's actually great training because it allows us to do important husbandry with the tiger, like health checks. So with the tiger standing there with the focus on us handlers, we can bring a vet along and do some health procedures like x-rays and ultrasounds and give them their yearly vaccinations without having to knock out the tiger. So less stress for us and less stress for the tiger. Now this training is also versatile as we can use it in media works. And we can do that by having a second mark board. And just asking the tiger, going from mark A to mark B. So as he goes mark B, there he goes. So while we have our tigers involved in media work, is because it draws an income. But not for us, or for Dreamworld, or for the tigers here, but for the tigers out in the wild. As Wildlife Family mentioned, tigers are getting less and less out in the wild, and that is due to habitat destruction and also poaching for their body parts. So here at Dreamworld, we're trying to raise money through the Dreamworld Wildlife Foundation, the centre organisation overseas that are doing fantastic conservation work, like educating people about human-tiger conflict, and also teaching people that tiger body parts have no medicinal properties whatsoever. And we also fund 2 anti-poaching units, one in Russia for the Siberian tiger, and one in Sumatra for the Sumatran tiger, which you see up on our TV screen at the moment. So if you want to help out those causes, you can. Around the island we do have donation boxes, so if you've got any loose coins in your pockets, feel free to head to those donation boxes and pop it in there. It does go towards saving tigers overseas. Every little bit counts. Or you can go on the DWF website and donate there, or even adopt a tiger. Unfortunately, that does not mean you get to take the tiger home, but you get some cool stuff, and all the money goes towards saving tigers overseas. So that's the serious part of what we do here at Tiger Island, something that we are very passionate about here at Tiger Island. But I think it's time to move on to some more natural tiger behaviours. So you're all being a bit quiet, so I'm going to ask you a question and want you to answer in your loudest voice. Who wants to see a tiger go for a swim? Woo! Alrighty, so we've got a nice big pool full of Javi here, so I'll be having a bit of a run up getting there. So have your cameras focused on the water. This one behaviour does separate the tigers from all the other cat species. He's going after a piece of chicken there into the water, and he's doing charges there today. Tigers do like water, and he's just seeing if he can get there without getting wet first. Must be not too hot for him today then. Tigers are one of 2 big cat species that love water as he gets in there. So the other one is the jaguar of Central America. As he dives down for that chicken, as he gets back up, give a round of applause. Fantastic dive there by Javi. So a lot of cat species don't like water. Tiger is one of the few that do. The other big cat is the jaguar in Central America. And what they like to do in the water is they like to get in the water, help themselves on a hot day. So as I said, you might not think it's too hot yet to get in the water. That's why it's a bit slow today. But our tigers like to get in the water, and especially on a hot day, like to play around. So as he comes out, we're going to do one more big finale. So here he comes getting out. So have your cameras focused on the camera. We're going to do one more big finale here. And going to do a big run and jump once he gets all that meat there. And hopefully he jumps in and has a big splash. So this is one that tigers, especially when we play with them with toys, we used to get in the water with toys and they like to run around and splash around. But hopefully he's about to turn. Simon got that chicken. Here he goes. Big run up, big finish. There we go. Give it a round of applause. Fantastic jump there by Javi. And back to you, Wildlife Alley.
Let's keep that round of applause going for our amazing tiger handlers, folks. We have Paul, Simon, and Pete. Now, this does bring us to the end of today's presentation, and we hope you enjoyed witnessing some amazing natural tiger abilities and learnt about a very important conservation message. Before you head off, though, we have one more message on the big screen from our rangers in Sumatra.
Terima kasih atas bantuan dalam pelestarian harimau Sumatera.
And thank you for joining us here at Tiger Island, folks. Have the best day here at Dreamworld.
Thank you, Wildlife Alley. We've got a couple more chickens to like right around, so feel free to stay around if you want. If you need to come close to the front, you just ask you not to jump over this front and stay here. Thank you very much.
Let's go. to let you out in a minute, just because I've got to head back to the shop. Okay.
Do you want to go on some rides?